just got daylight, and it was a couple minutes after daylight. I heard a twig snap behind me, and I stood up, turned around. There stood a Bigfoot. This thing was absolutely massive. I'm going to say it was between roughly 8 and 9 feet, and it stood there, and I looked at it. It looked at me, and it like left out a little growl, and I stood there. I couldn't move.
This is the Cryptid Creature Show. I am Brian, and with me, as always, is my co-host Todd. What's up, buddy?
Brian, tonight we have another twofer going on. 2 guests tonight.
Oh, yeah, double whammy. I like those.
First, we're going to bring on Joshua. And Joshua had a very interesting close-up, face-to-face Bigfoot encounter while he was out hunting. So that's going to be cool. And then after that, we're going to bring on Shelly, who has a Bigfoot group page on Facebook and also is out in Oregon and has had several experiences and encounters with Bigfoot out in Oregon as well. So we're going to talk to her after that.
All right.
Pretty
sounds like fun. Yeah.
So with that, let's not waste any more time. You ready to bring Joshua on?
Yep, let's get him.
Joshua, thanks for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
We were talking earlier, and we know that you had a Bigfoot encounter in south central Pennsylvania. Why don't you start from the beginning and tell us what was going on and what happened to you?
Woke up in the morning, got dressed, went out to Shawnee State Park, which is only 15 minutes from my house. And I parked and got my stuff out of the truck and started back through the gate and was walking down a path and went around a bend. And I knew there was a ravine there to the left and went up over a little bank and started out through the woods, maybe 20, 30 yards, maybe 40 at the most, and sat down where I could see part of the lake and the big ravine that here we usually come through. And I got everything set up, scratched out the leaves like I normally do, and just so I wasn't making as much noise, and put the pan primer in my front lock and sitting there waiting, and just got daylight. And it was just a couple minutes after daylight, I heard a twig snap behind me. And I thought, okay, deer's coming through. I'll get my gun. I'll get it ready, pull back the hammer and stuff, and just stand up slowly because, like I said, it was coming from behind me. And I stood up, turned around, and there stood a Bigfoot. This thing was absolutely massive. I'm going to say it was between roughly 8 and 9 feet. And its head actually snapped that twig right above its head. And it stood there, and I looked at it. It looked at me, and it like left out a little, kind of sounded like a little bit of a growl. And I stood there. I couldn't move. It felt like we were locked eyes for like an hour. And it couldn't have been more than 15, 20 yards from me. And right off to its left side was like a teepee made out of sticks linked around this tree that I walked by in the dark, not realizing what it was. I don't know if it was actually in there sleeping or just watching me at the time, but after I was able to move, I pulled my pan cover up, dumped out all the pan primer that I had into my muzzle loader, closed that up, wrapped my cushion that I was sitting on, strapped it on. Needless to say, I have never hauled ass like that out of the woods. I was kind of terrified of it. It was like, and then once I got to my truck, it was like, what did I see? What was that thing? But in my mind, I knew what it was. And I walked out of my truck that morning without my phone because I left it right there on the console. I was needing to grab it. And it was like, I forgot that. And I stood there at my truck for, I bet you, 15, 20 minutes, shaking because I was scared. It was like, and I was trying to remember what it looked like, the build of it. I mean, it was huge. It looked like it could have snapped a normal person with no problem. But I remember it having like a reddish brown coat or hair that had a little bit of like white or like gray color in it, like it was an older one. And I've been back out to that area a couple of times since then. And every time I'm around that area, like the hair on the back of my neck will stand up, and it just feels like there's something in there still watching you. And I've heard multiple reports after my encounter with him that I actually have a friend that fishes a good bit out there at the lake too, back in that area in the later fall and stuff for catfish. And he says when he's night fishing out there with his boy, they've actually had rocks thrown at them from like the same general area that I was fishing at. And he said the first time it happened to him, he said him and his boy hauled ass out of there because they didn't know what it was. And to this day, there's not a lot of people believe what I saw, but I know what I saw. I'd just love to be able to see him again, to tell you the truth. Just to make sure I wasn't seeing things.
Joshua, had you been out to that area prior to that, did you say? Or no, was this the first time you'd hunted that area?
I've been out around that area prior, but I've never actually hunted that specific area.
And you say you're about 15, 20 yards away?
Yes.
Can you describe its face?
It had like a really, really broad face. Had huge freaking eyes. I mean, I was looking at his eyes a lot because it seemed like it had me locked on its eyes. It was covered in hair, pretty much everything else, and it had black eyes. I do remember it having black eyes.
Would you say it was more human looking or more animal looking?
More human looking.
So, did you have your gun? You said you turned.
Yeah, I had.
Was it pointing at the creature?
I just had the hammer back, but I still had it like against my chest because I wasn't going to pull it up until I figured out where, if it was a deer, where it was actually at.
So do you think he knew you were there and was trying to sneak up on you, or did he seem to be as startled as you were?
He seemed like he was a bit startled.
Did it ever come across your mind to maybe take a shot?
No, I was honestly scared too. I don't think it would have mattered.
So did you believe in Bigfoot before this? Did you ever think about them existing or ponder the idea?
I've pondered the idea up until that point, and I was always kind of like on the fence. It was like, I know there has to be stuff like that out there, but I was always type, until I actually see one, I don't know what to think. And then I see one, and it's like, yeah, they're here.
You said that you finally got your wits about you, that maybe you just were kind of in a trance or something like that.
Yeah.
When you did start packing up and packing out, what was he doing? Was he just still standing there?
He was still just standing there. He was just watching me. And he was still let out a little bit of a growl. I wasn't sure if it was like a warning or what it was, but it was like, if I don't move or if I don't get started, it's going to get me.
You're pretty brave for wanting to go back out there. I mean, obviously you didn't feel as threatened, I guess, in a way that it was going to kill you.
Yeah.
But you're obviously interested enough to want to go back and see it again.
Yeah.
Do you see any more structures when you go out there at all?
That's the structure that I saw it standing by that morning. It's still there, as far as I know. But I've hunted like different parts of the state park, like on the other side of the lake, and I've seen some structure type things over on that side as well. Now it's making me wonder, how many is there in this area?
Well, there's more than one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
People always talk about that. How many Bigfoot are there? It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
It is. It's like I want to learn more about them, too.
So what would you do if you see another one? What are you going to do? And how do you want to see it? Do you want to see it the same way, that close? Maybe from your car?
I kind of do, in a way. I kind of do want to see it up close again. And maybe if it's stupid of me to say, but I'd kind of like to maybe like try to communicate with it, maybe learn. But it's like at the same time, I don't want to end up getting hurt in any way.
Have you thought about maybe going back out in that area and putting out some trail cams or something? I mean, we know that probably doesn't work, but
yeah, I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about maybe putting one inside that tree structure that it's standing beside.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. You never know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there must have been a part about you that thought that this creature wasn't really going to harm you. I'm sure you were terrified in the fact that you just seen this creature, but
yeah,
you know, you seem to be able to, like, you know, you still go back out there, you still hunt, you still look for these things. So obviously you feel that they're not threatening.
Yes.
To a point. I'm sure they could be. But you said
this
one was
they
like,
could be.
You said this guy was like 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
Have you seen any tracks or anything like that out there?
No, I haven't.
Maybe around the structures or something like that next time you go out there. Did you ever get any pictures of the structures?
I do got a couple pictures on my phone from the structure, and I can upload them to you through Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, send them to us, and we'll post them on our group page when we release your episode here.
Okay.
How much are you into studying? I know that you go out looking, but do you do a lot of research at home or wherever?
A little bit here and there, not a whole lot, but it's like something I want to get started on doing more of.
Do you ever go to any conferences or anything like that?
I would love to be able to go to a couple if they're close to me. I'd love to be able to make a trip up to some of them just to learn.
I think there are several in Pennsylvania. I think there's actually an Eastern, a Mid, and a Western conference. You maybe just look them up. I'm not totally sure, but I think there might have been a couple.
Yeah.
Brian and I maybe looked at going to one time, but it conflicted with something. But
meet the computer you can talk to. With Copilot on Windows, working, creating, and collaborating is as easy as talking. Got writer's block? Share your screen with Copilot Vision to help spark inspiration, and use Copilot Voice to have a conversation and brainstorm ideas. Or maybe you need some tech help. With Copilot Vision, Copilot sees what you see. Let Copilot talk you through step-by-step guidance so you can master new apps, games, and skills faster. Try now at windows.com/Copilot.
How far are you from Salt Fork, Ohio?
Probably 3, maybe 4 hours.
Okay, so there's a big one there.
Okay.
The Ohio Bigfoot Conference. It's the first weekend in May, first Saturday in May.
Okay.
So that's a good time. There's a lot of cool stuff there, and a lot of cool speakers and vendors and everything. So
yeah.
So when do you plan on getting out next?
I might actually try to get out a little bit this week.
The weather's pretty nice right now, at least where we're at. So
yeah, get out there before winter.
Yes.
Do you think they're there in the wintertime too?
I'm not sure. I would like to and hope that they would be there in the wintertime, but I don't know if they would move out of the area or how they do it for weather-wise.
You guys have a lot of cave systems around there that you know of?
There are some cave systems around the area. I know there's where I grew up in Osterberg, there was a mountain range right up that I could see out of the back door of our house. It's called Broomball Mountain, and I know there's some cave systems up at the top of that mountain. And there's some cave systems that I know of up and around Blue Knob State Park, which that place is freaking huge.
And how far away is that from where you were at?
It's only about 15, 20 minutes from me where I'm at right now.
From your sighting? Is that how far was it?
From the sighting where I had Blue Knob would be about a half an hour.
So they could be all hiding up in that huge area where you're talking about and just kind of sprawling out, you know?
Yeah.
How big was the structure that you saw?
Oh, it was maybe like 10, 12 feet diameter, and it was every bit 9, 10 feet tall.
Okay.
I was actually in a Bigfoot group here not long ago, and they asked if I had any pictures of structures, and I posted the pictures of the structure that I had, and I had comments coming in that wasn't a Bigfoot structure. It was made by hunters, and this, that. It was like, I grew up in this area all my life. Hunters in this area, they don't make teepees to hunt out of. Our blinds that we make in a hurry here pretty much just consists of a little branch on one side of a tree, a little branch on the other side of a tree, and maybe a couple dead tree tops in front just break up your outline, and that's it.
Yeah, a hunter is not going to take the time to make a teepee, especially that size.
Yeah.
A stick structure, teepee structure, especially that size.
Yeah.
They're going to either have a tree stand, have a climbing tree stand, or they're going to have a ground blind. Or they're just going to, like you said, kind of sit down on a log or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you've ever hunted, you know that. You're not going to go out and I think I'll make a teepee structure out of all these huge logs that weigh 200 pounds each. And so have you heard about any other encounters in that area from anyone else?
I've actually talked to a woman who lives down in Fulton County, I believe, which is the next county over. And she said she's actually, her and some of her friends have actually they didn't actually see it, but they heard it. They heard tree knocks. They heard it being vocal out around Shawnee Lake too.
Yeah, I was looking on the map. That's a very dense area. I'm sure that there's all kinds of stuff going on there.
And there's some places that you can't even beat a billy goat through.
Well, man, we want to thank you so much for being on the show.
I want to thank you for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. That was a good story. If you get out there anymore, let us know. Find anything else.
And if I find anything that I might think is along this line, if you don't mind, I'll send it to you guys and let you guys look at it, see what you guys think.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Definitely, man. And send us those pictures of those teepees as well, or those structures that you have, if you don't mind. We'll paste them if you're cool with that. So,
okay, I'm cool with that.
All right, Joshua, thanks again for being here with us, man.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you have a good night.
Yeah, it's our honor. Thank you.
Stay in touch.
Will do. Hey, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool encounter.
Yeah, it was.
Surprised he didn't get into more trouble with that gun and having that gun in his hand, whether he was pointing at the creature or not.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think he kind of got lucky.
That could have ended bad.
Maybe that was one that had never seen a gun before and was kind of like, You got to wonder if some of them know and some of them don't know what guns are. You know, they're probably taught. They probably teach.
I don't know, man. I think they learn from a young age what we are capable of doing.
It's great having Joshua on.
Yeah, it was.
All right. Are you ready to bring Shelly on and talk to her about her Oregon Bigfoot adventures?
Yep, let's get her.
Shelly, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for being
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So we know that you have a Sweet Home Oregon Sasquatch Research Group on Facebook. Can you tell us what part of Oregon you're in? What general area?
It's the central part of Oregon on the western side of the Cascade Mountains. I'm in the foothills.
Okay.
All right. Nice.
Yeah.
You know where that is.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. Yep.
You love it out there.
Yep.
Super, super squatchy.
Oh, it is for sure. So we know that you've had several encounters and a lot of things going on. That's probably the reason why you started this Facebook group, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, it started out as like, I had my daughter and she was starting to get older and a little more independent, and mom needed friends. And I just thought that I would start the group because I'm really into Bigfoot, and it just blossomed into this really beautiful thing. So,
okay, cool. Why don't you start from the first encounter and just take us into it and what was going on and everything?
Sure. Yeah. So I started doing research in this area about maybe about 4 years ago, hardcore. And then, so in the process, I learned all the trails and stuff in the area. And the trails are, my gosh, have you guys had a chance to see any of the BLM trails and the old logging trails in Oregon? It's a magnificent maze of just, it's amazing. So I started learning the trails and stuff, and then I started the group. And then just this summer, at the beginning of summer, we went out to do some recon, trying to find some good, spots to set up like a base camp for the summer. And we went down a local, it's a group campsite. And I went down that trail. It's out and back. And we went down the trail, and as we're just cruising along like 5 or 10 miles an hour. I saw something out of the corner of my eye on the left, and I looked and I saw the back of a Sasquatch. I knew right away what it was. It didn't have any ears. It had a conical shaped head, no neck, shoulders. And so it was just the back from the upper back up. So I stopped my car, and by the time I stopped my car and put it in reverse, a tree was blocking me. There was a great big giant tree just right in front of my window. So I put it in reverse, and what had been like maybe 10 feet away from me was now like 30 feet away from me. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? This is weird. And then, so just as soon as I saw it, it's 30 feet away from me. I looked down and reached down to grab my phone to take a picture. And I came back up, and it had moved another 40 feet behind me, like to the left. And I was just like, there's no way it could have just, ran through this thick brush. A human would have a problem. Like, you would need to take a machete and whack through it to get through it. It was crazy thick. So, and then it disappeared like that. So I kind of sat there for a minute and got my bearings, and I had one of my research partners, Tammy, with me, and I asked her, I was like, during the time, I'm like, are you seeing this? And she's like, no, I don't see anything. I was like, great. So anyways, so we decided we'd just go down the trail and turn around and come back. And on our way back on the same side, so it was Tammy's side this time, as we were moving along the trail, and it's a pretty short trail too. It's like at most maybe a quarter of a mile long. It's really not that long. And so we're going down the trail, and as we're going along, the bushes are moving. like something was walking behind them. And every time I'd stop the car, the bushes would stop. So but Tammy was seeing that. She's like, look at this, look at the bushes. And I'd look over and I could see them. And so I'd stop the car and the bushes would stop moving. It was the craziest thing. So that was my first sighting. Let me see. So the second sighting that I had, I was with my 2 research partners, Tammy and Lee, and we were just a bunch of girls up in the mountains looking for Sasquatch. We had went way up the mountain. We didn't see anything. I think we found some prints that day. We find a lot of prints. And so we were coming back down the hill and we came around a curve and there's like a ledge. And right in front of us was a Sasquatch. And it appeared very slowly. So it started at its feet and it just kind of just appeared right in front of us. And it was huge and it was just standing there and I could see it and I could see the hair and I could see the fingers and, it surprised me. It took my breath away. I kind of inhaled and held it for a minute in surprise. And then I asked the girls, I was like, oh my God. And they're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, are you seeing this? And they're like, no, we're not. So I was like, great. Okay, here we go again. But yeah, and then just as quickly as it appeared and I, took my breath in and took my breath out, it disappeared. And when it disappeared, again, it was weird. It just kind of sparkled and just disappeared. It dissipated into the, air. So that was my second sighting. And then going on to the third sighting was on July 26th. And it was the day that I had a meeting here for my group. My friend Eric, my research partner, he comes over from Bend and he camps up in the mountains with us. And so we had went up into the mountains and we were going to camp that night. And it was really quiet. There was nothing going on. I was getting no vibes. There was no energy. I wasn't feeling anything up there really. And I was just like, you know what? I live an hour away. I'm just going to go home and sleep in my own bed and I'll be back in the morning, and my daughter's home and I'm like, I'll just go hang out with her and then I'll come back. So I left the mountain at 10 o'clock and it takes me about a half an hour to get down. And I came down and at 10:30, I come around a bend on the road, on the main road, right across from a really popular campsite or, like a group campsite. And 50 feet in front of me was 2 sets of red glowing eyes. And there was one on the left-hand side of the road and then one on the right-hand side of the road. So as soon as I saw them, I slowed way down. I think I came to a complete stop. And the first thing I asked myself is, what is somebody doing hanging out with steampunk glasses on? You know what I mean? They were like the big, round, red, glowing steampunk glasses. That's what they reminded me of. Who's out here doing that? I'm in the middle of nowhere, And so I just kind of stared at it and just looked at it and tried to figure out what it was. It wasn't an owl. The eyes were big like eggs and they were oval shaped like that. But they were, if you were to put its head on my head, the eyes were way over here on both sides. And so the one on the left, his head was almost on the ground. And the one on the right was standing behind a tree, peeking around the tree at the car. And it would look behind itself and then it would look at me again, and it kept doing that. So I started creeping up on him, maybe 10 miles an hour, just real slow. I turned my brights off because I didn't want to blind him, whatever it was. And as I'm creeping along, and this one is, looking at me and trying to I could tell it was trying to pay attention to something that was going on behind it. The one on the left, I looked over and I locked eyes with it, and it stared at me the whole time that I passed it. And then right when I got really close to it, literally, I was 10 feet away from it because it's just on the side of the road. I could see that it was kind of like hunched over or something. So it had hair on its back. And as my headlights passed over its back, it kind of had like this ripple effect. And it was like shiny, a sparkle or a glow. I don't know, like kind of like a reflector almost, but it was clear, right? And its eyes were the same. I couldn't see its face. I didn't have any fear. I wasn't afraid. My windows were down. I never thought about rolling them up. I just continued past. And once I got past them, I looked in the rearview mirror and I couldn't see anything at all. It was dark. It was pitch black. And that was it.
So did all these encounters happen pretty close to the same area?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. They sure are.
So let's go back to the second encounter. You said it just kind of sparkled and dissipated. Do you think maybe it could have stepped back into a portal or something?
Yeah, I've thought about that a lot because recently I've gotten photos of some really weird things up there that really remind me of portals. And speaking of portals, when I was out on another trail, I saw the black shadow figures that people talk about in the forest. Like lots of people call them watchers and stuff like that. I saw those, and in one of the photos that I have of what I believe is a portal, it looks like one of those coming out of a portal. I mean, it's exactly what I saw, but only in a photograph. So I absolutely believe in portals, and I absolutely believe that they're some kind of, magical being, or they have, gifts that we don't. And they travel dimensions, possibly. I used to not believe that, but now I do. This whole summer just kind of reset me.
At Blinds.com, it's not just about window treatments. It's about you, your style, your space, your way. Whether you DIY or want the pros to handle it all, you'll have the confidence of knowing it's done right. From free expert design help to our 100% satisfaction guarantee, everything we do is made to fit your life and your windows. Because at Blinds.com, the only thing we treat better than windows is you. Black Friday deals are going on all month long. Save up to 45% off site-wide, plus an additional 10% off every order right now at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions apply.
Well, if you think about it, if they really were just tall creatures walking through the woods, I think eventually our government would probably be like, you know what, Bigfoot are real and they're out there. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't.
If there were like bears, here all the time and just walking around, more people would see them, I think.
True.
Yeah.
I think the reason they don't talk about them is because they are supernatural. They have some weird capabilities that we don't understand, whatever that is. And that also helps them stay hidden or stay undetected. I don't think it totally stops them from being undetected. I think that, sometimes, we've encountered them and they've probably killed some and everything else. But I think they do have some weird capabilities that keep them hidden some weird way.
Yeah, I think it's odd that I would see them and the people that I was with did not. That struck me really hard. And I felt bad for a long time too, because I thought, well, what if they think I'm just lying? What if they think I'm making this crap up? You know what I mean? And I asked my friend Tammy, I said, do you believe me? And she said, absolutely, 100%. You had a genuine reaction to something that startled you. So that was real, you know? Yeah, I believe that they do have some kind of capability or special privilege to travel where we cannot, you know? And as far as the government, like, not confessing to them being real, I don't know if you guys are familiar with I think it was the spotted owl. There was an owl that, it's a story about an owl that they had found that had made a nest in a certain forest over here in Oregon or Washington or something. But when that happened, they had to shut down like a whole section of the forest. And it really created a big economical hiccup. People lost their jobs, you know, because they could no longer log in this area. So if you can imagine them having to create the space for Bigfoot, then people are going to be losing their jobs and their livelihoods, and tourism is going to change one way or another, whether it gets better or worse, you know? So there a lot of things would happen that they don't want to happen.
Right. Yeah, we've talked about that before too, about maybe some of the national parks are made mainly for that reason.
Yeah, I believe Theodore Roosevelt.
Beautiful, and they want to preserve it.
Yeah.
But maybe, just maybe, there's another reason behind that.
Yeah, well, Teddy Roosevelt, you know, when he traveled, and he even said that he had written about experiences with Bigfoot. Why didn't he just set aside the whole system for them? You know, I totally believe that. And that's where like most people have their sightings of not just Bigfoot, but other things too. I know something else that's really popular right now is Dogman. You know, there a lot more people are seeing Dogman, or, you know, I don't know. I've always thought that maybe the Dogman sightings were actually Bigfoot, but the more I talk to people, I think there's a pretty clear difference between the two. So, you know, it's a big pie. I haven't seen him yet, but I'm open if he wants to show himself to me, you know.
Well, they're out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, careful what you wish for on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't wish for anything bad. I'm cool.
That's what scares me nowadays, to go out and look for Bigfoot, is what if I see a dog man?
Yeah.
What? Am I going to live to tell it? And how messed up am I going to be after that? You know, I mean, Bigfoot's one thing, but seeing a werewolf that's childhood
totally
nightmares,
different story.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I talked to quite a few people, especially indigenous people from the area, about the encounter I had when I saw the eyes, and they seemed to believe that it might be Dogman. But like I said, I wasn't scared, you know, like I feel like it wasn't threatening, and it didn't scare me like that. And I think my heart wants to believe that it was Sasquatch. So I'm going to go with that for now. You know, I don't know.
Well, from what we've heard, Bigfoot have the red shine to them. Dogmen are more the yellow. Yellow is orange.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you see yellow, then yeah, look out. You're in trouble.
Okay.
Don't mess around. Just get out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. Well, I got a big camping trip coming up tomorrow, actually. We're going up. A bunch of us are going up into the mountains to our spot. So
cool.
I'm kind of excited about it. Yeah, because, you know, the snow will be coming eventually. And once the snow hits, they close those trails down and you can't get up there. So.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
We've seen that. Yeah.
In the springtime, Brian and I have tried to go to a trail, and it's like, there's
It
snow.
was closed.
You know,
Yeah.
you're driving up there, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you hit snow and you hit the dirt road, and it's just you're wondering.
Like, well, we're in the mountains.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
But there's
Yeah,
a lot of cool places in Oregon. Do you ever make it down to Crater Lake or any places like that?
Yeah, I used to live down by Applegate, and I haven't been to Crater Lake, but I have been to Applegate, and Applegate is really awesome. That whole area from Applegate down into California, super squatchy. And we have found prints back there and structures, tree structures too. Grants Pass, I've done some squatching there. It's really cool. Oak Ridge, my friend took me to Owl Moonland the other day. That was pretty cool. That's awesome. We've been all over. Last year, we actually set up camp up at Mount St. Helens, and we had some experiences up there. We didn't have any sightings, but we did have some crazy stuff happen. We woke up one morning, like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and we heard rock clapping down at the creek. There was our campsite, which was about a mile away from Ape Cave. And then there's a creek by our campsite, but it's a drop off. It's a ledge. So, you can't get down. There's no paths to get down to the creek. But we could hear rock clapping out there. And then later on that summer, my friend was out there camping by himself, and he got ran out they were throwing rocks and tree limbs and branches at him. And he packed up all of his stuff. And as he was driving out of the campsite on the trail, a tree flew right in front of his truck. So Washington has a lot of aggressive Bigfoot. We don't see the aggression down here as much. We get a lot of like electronic failure, stuff like that.
Especially it seems in Washington, especially by St. Helen, that's where Ape Canyon is, right?
Yeah, it is.
Like that area is very, very aggressive.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. It's
like they don't
scary.
want people there at all.
At all, right? They were actually quite kind to us. They didn't really bother us until the end of summer. That's when they really started bothering us. So and I have a whole theory about that too, because we get stories of aggressive Bigfoots up here, but a lot of people stop me because they know me and they see my car, and my car has a sticker on it, Bigfoot researcher, and they're hunters. And they tell me that they've had these experiences, unlike campers or hikers. So the hunters, I've noticed, will get the aggressive encounters. So like, unlike the encounters that the campers talk about or the hikers, the hunters will talk about how aggressive their behavior is. And so it makes sense up at Mount St. Helens when Steve was getting, shooed out of there. It was a couple of weeks before bow season started, So that's when the aggression, I believe, starts, is like around hunting season.
Yeah, they don't want those guys in their woods. They don't want them shooting their deer.
Yeah, they're taking their food.
Yeah.
They're probably still ticked off about Mount St. Helens. They probably think the humans did that, So maybe that's why they're so upset in that way.
I don't think they think
I'm
that.
just saying that. But
they're more in tune to nature than we are.
But I've heard that before. The more up north you get, the more kind of aggressive they can be. The more chill they are.
They know what guns are too, and I don't think they like those guns.
Yeah, if you're hunting and you have a weapon, gun, bow, something like that, they know you're out to do business. So
they know what's up. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think they know people too. Excuse me, because I think that they know me. I think they're pretty comfortable around me, and you know what I mean? Because I took somebody up there, and I don't think they liked them very much because we had some aggression, a little bit of aggression that night, but we didn't see anything. It was just sounds and noises and stuff. So
yeah, I think they can pick up on if you're a good person or not. I think don't know if they can sense it, if they can actually see your aura. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I think they know.
Right. Definitely. I think not even that this other person that I brought was a bad person. He wasn't a bad person. He was just not a normal person that usually goes up there. He was a guest, you know? So they were like, who's this person we don't know? You know? Yeah.
They kind of form a friendship with certain people, and if strangers come around, they can be, you know, aggressive, like any creature or animal, human would be, you know. Any living creature kind of can call it jealousy, whatever you want. I don't know.
Dogs do it.
Yeah. Dogs and cats, domesticated animals do it all the time. Yeah, I totally believe that too.
So you saw,
I think
you saw quite a few in a short amount of time. Do you think you're going to see any more anytime soon, or?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'll see them. But every time I go up there, I experience something. So I was just up there a couple nights ago, and they were tossing rocks at us off the side of a cliff, but they weren't big rocks. They were like small little rocks, like, hey, trying to get our attention or something, you know what I mean? And then we saw eye shine. So we would see eye shine down the road a little bit, and then something would toss a rock off the top of the cliff. And then over here, we'd hear a whoop, you know? So they're surrounding us, but they're being very playful, I guess, you know? Like just hanging out, like, hey, what's up? Who knows? Maybe we're working up to something, you know what I mean? Not something aggressive, something that could, you know, potentially be that communication between friends, you know? Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
And you would definitely have to get a hold of us again if that happened.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I think there's people out there that have made closer friendships with Bigfoot that probably have had them hang out in their backyard, you know, or have some kind of closer connection. Who knows? There's so many things that could be possible. And people that never said anything about it, you know. There's people out there that probably live in the deep hills of somewhere and could have very close communication with these creatures and don't say anything about it to anybody. But they know they're there, and
and they never will,
and they want to protect them in that way, and that's cool. You know, that's how it should be if we're going to make connection with these creatures. But they're so leery, and they see what humans can do and what we do to each other. So why would they want to be with us? You know,
100%. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I know that a lot of people are around here. That was another thing too when I started the group is I wanted, because the locals, this is their home, you know, and this is where they have been for generations, and they hunt and they fish and they do all these things over here in these mountains, you know, and I think that at first they were really wary of me because they didn't want me to ruin that for them. They didn't want me to bring in a bunch of TV crews and, you know, like do all this crazy stuff. And it's taken 2 years to get their trust, you know, and now I feel like they trust me and they know that's not what I'm about. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why my group is small and private, you know, and people, they can tell their stories there. They don't have to, but yeah. I entered the chili cook-off in town this year in October.
Nice.
As Sweet Home Sasquatch, yeah.
I do love good chili.
Are you good at making chili?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Cool.
Well, we're going to find out in October.
Yeah.
You'll have to let us know. I think you're right. I think these creatures trust you. I think they think that you're a good person, know that you're a good person. You're not out there to harm them. You're not out there to bring a ton of light to them. you're trying to,
Right.
what you're doing is trying to research and just gather information. You're not trying to exploit them. You're not telling everybody where you're at. Hey, come here and look for these guys. You know, you don't want that. And I don't blame you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think they know that
absolutely.
about you, they trust you. So
The Who's down in Who Newville were making their list, but some didn't know Walmart has the best brands for their gifts.
What about toys? Do they have brands kids have been wanting all year?
Yep, Barbie, Tony's, and Lego. Gifts that will make them all cheer.
Do you mean they have all the brands I adore?
They have Nintendo, Nespresso, Apple, and more.
What about...
So the Who answered questions from friends till they were blue. Each one listened and shouted, from Walmart? Who knew? Shop gifts from top brands for everyone on your list in the Walmart app.
that's cool. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll keep it that way for sure. Yeah. I never give out locations ever. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, especially if you got a nice spot like that. Don't ruin it.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
I mean, you could invite us
Yeah.
out there, though.
Yeah, if you want to. I mean,
Oh yeah, no, I do. Occasionally, I do invite people I trust. So you have to sign the pact in blood, though.
No.
that's, hey, you know, it's worth it, I guess.
Yeah, it would be worth it.
Yeah.
Totally, totally.
Well, if you get out there and
Yeah.
you see anything else or have any more contact, you need to reach out to us and let us know.
Yeah, if something happens this weekend, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
exciting. Yeah.
I definitely will. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for
Well,
being
thank
here with
you.
us. We appreciate
Thank you. It was very, very fun.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good night then. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Shelly.
All right. All right. Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay, man. Great having her on and talking to her. A lot of stuff going on in Oregon, as we always say, as we know.
Yes, there is.
You know, they're like the number 4 or 5 spot for Bigfoot encounters. People would say, oh, we thought they were number 1, but I think they're like
No.
4 or 5. Actually, it's like
Washington, big number 1.
Washington, Ohio. Believe it or not,
in Ohio.
number 3, believe it or not, I've read this several times, and maybe it's not anymore, but Florida is number 3. I think then followed by California. And
Hell, it
then-
might be.
then
It might be Oklahoma now. I don't know.
Yeah, Oklahoma. You never know. Could be. Anyway, great having both those guests on tonight, man. And just, I really love
Yeah,
hearing
well,
these
thank you.
encounters and just getting involved in this.
Yep.
Cool hanging out with you again, brother.
Always fun, brother. Always learning.
All right, with that, I'm ready to go. What do you say?
Yep. See ya.
Footsteps in the hollow dark, trees whisper names I can't remark. Eyes in the branches glowing white, something's watching out of sight. Echoes of a beast, is it real or a game? Every shadow calling my name. I'm chasing shadows, chasing ghosts through the woods where the legends boast. Monsters hide, truth or lies, show me the cryptids under the skies. Cracks in the mud, they twist and turn. A broken branch, a fire that burns. House in the distance, low and deep. A secret the mountain swore to keep.